Welcome to this Joy of Business special. My name is Novan Akwa Hayford, and today we are speaking to the new managing director of the Republic Bank, Farid Anta. It is his first time as far as speaking to the public or speaking in any interview is concerned, and we are privileged to have him with us. And we want to find out from him what are his thoughts, his projections, what he thinks of the bank, and where he intends to take the Republic Bank in the years ahead. Thank you very much, Mr. Anta. Let me put it that way. I don't know how long you've been around in Ghana, but are you able to share with me your thoughts concerning our country?
Yes, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I have only been in Ghana now for about 5 weeks. I came in on the 8th of May, 8th of March, and started work on the 11th. I did visit for a short time in October 2017, but unfortunately it was more work than play, so I didn't get to enjoy as much. But it was enough to know it was a nice place to be. It reminds me a lot of home. So I've been here for about 5 weeks, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Wow. It tells me, that, because you said something very profound, it is just like being back home. And let me just drag you to how the journey has been like for you till you're getting here finally.
Yeah, well, as I say back home, I'm from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. And we are very similar in terms of the distance from the equator to Ghana. So the climate is similar, the people, the foods, so the whole environment is comfortable. So, initially when you go to different places to live or spend time, you take a little while to adjust to the climate, to the culture, and so forth. So I found that pretty easy so far, and it is definitely assisted by the pleasant nature of the Ghanaian people. I mean, everyone has been so welcoming, so inviting, that you just have no choice but to feel comfortable. Of course, I'm only now taking up the reins, so the levels of pressures and so forth might change a bit, but the introduction has been really good.
One of the things I realized is Robert Lee Hunt, who probably was the first managing director when the Republic Bank took over, then HFC, was from the credit line.
Yeah.
Anthony Jordan, who you're taking over from, same thing. I don't know whether you are also coming from the same background. Is that the case?
Well, it's probably a little reversed. Anthony Jordan, he started his career at Republic Bank more in the operations stream, branch managers and different areas, and he evolved into credit. I basically started my career 39 years ago in the credit area. I spent maybe my first 15 years in credit up to corporate credit. And I sort of evolved from credit to different types of credit marketing. And I was privileged and lucky or blessed to have been able to get a touch of different areas of the organization. A bit of finance, a bit of branch operations. I was a teller. So I joined on the teller line. I've joined from the ground up. So you get to learn a lot of different areas, some specialist areas, worked on some major projects, for the bank within teams, and then I was offered a position in Barbados when we acquired a subsidiary bank in Barbados. I spent 7 years in Barbados, and I did different areas. I ran the branch network, I ran mortgages, loan approvals, a bit of credit card, marketing and communications. Then I moved across, we were implementing a new core banking system. I led that project, and because it was one of the last projects I did in Trinidad, so based on the experience, I was asked to lead that implementation. By and large, I think it went very well. So I've been able to touch a number of areas of the bank. So I did credit, I did head office type functions, support functions. I was the chief risk officer of the bank just before I left, and I was also the chief compliance officer a short while ago. So that is quite a journey across the organization, which I think has prepared me well enough, as well as could be, for this new position.
Right. I asked that particular question because it seems to me the bank believes that the guys who went through the credit area, are better hands-on in managing a whole country, or let me call it the bank within nations. Is that the case? Do you agree to that?
No, I don't. I don't agree to that. It's not a one size fit all. It's a very multifaceted sort of. When you reach to the leadership position of the organization, you really have to exhibit a number of different skills. So down the line, as you move up, you get more and more specialized in your area, the different roles. But as you grow out of that, it's really more about leadership, strategic thinking, setting the example, leading by example. So we have had actually across the Republic Bank or the Republic Financial Holdings Group, we are seeing quite a bit of interchange. We even move people who are credit people and put them into different areas. Like IT people will run retail, because at that level, it's really about leading people, managing tasks, and being strategic in your objectives. So it's not necessarily that fit, but credit is definitely very important. You won't underestimate that. That's the bread and butter of the income stream for the banking industry. So you don't go out there and give bad credits. So you must have a very good and sound understanding of credit.
Well, you talk about leadership, and that brings me to the point where I want to find out from you, what sort of leadership should, staff within the bank, or even those of us who are probably customers, when I say those of us, that is customers of the bank, what sort of leadership should they expect from you?
Well, if I have to describe in just a couple of words, I would say my leadership side would be more values-based leadership. I believe very strongly in the core values of the organization. Not only are they values that you follow at work, but they're values you follow in life. We have integrity, respect for the individual, customer focus, results orientation, and professionalism. Those are not only business-related values. You live your life with integrity. You live your life giving service. So I believe, and I try to live and set the example that you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. So if you start with that premise and you are fair and equitable to everyone, I think you get a better listening and a better following.
Let's look at the Ghanaian economy. You've not been here for a very long time.
No.
You talk about 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
But I'm sure that before you came in, you've been following developments as far as the economy is concerned and the banking sector. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah. Well, actually, back home, one of my previous roles was in charge of regional operations. So I was sort of the conduit or the contact for the subsidiaries within the holding company. So we did get up-to-date weekly updates on the economies of the various regions, and we would get some updates on Ghana. So there's a bit of familiarization. The structure of the economy is fairly similar to Trinidad and Tobago, as it has been evolving, oil and gas. Our agriculture is not as robust as it is here. So, but there are some similarities. So I have a bit of understanding of the macroeconomics and the performance of the economy, which has been quite good in the last couple of years. Of course, like any sort of commodity-based country, you are subject to, we are generally price takers for oil and gas and so forth. So I know the impact it had on the economy. The price of cocoa, the price of gold fluctuates, etc. So I think overall, though, through the IMF program, there's been a lot of discipline in bringing the economy. The growth rate is very high. I think it is projected to be, the highest, the fastest growing economy in the world for 2019. So there are a lot of positive things. It takes a while for all the effects to filter down to the population. What's in it for me? How does it impact my pocket? So I believe it's going through that process now. So there are a lot of expectations. There's a lot of building activity around, and that's always a good sign that the economy, people have faith in the economy. So on that aspect, I think it's in a good place. The discipline needs to be continued. The Minister of Finance and the President have indicated that now out of the IMF program, the discipline will continue. So that's a very good sign. On the banking sector, it's going through quite an evolution or maybe a revolution right now. At the end of the day, it will be for the best of the country. I mean, we are already seeing in a very quick space of time the banking sector itself settling down after the increase in capital, the banks who couldn't make it, the banks that were underperforming. So you have to find a way to weed out the weaker players because it pulls down the quality of the market. So I think the Bank of Ghana, supported by the government, have been doing an excellent job in putting those things in and managing the fallout. Because at the end of the day, the cost, if it's not to the depositors, is to the taxpayers of the country. So there must be some method of recourse for the taxpayers of the country. Whether it is in a stronger banking sector which will allow the economy to grow, and over time it's all redeemed. You have now the moving into the other sectors, the savings and loans, the microfinance sectors, and that has had quite a disruption as well. There's confidence in the economy. But again, once the formula is followed, I believe there seems to be a good plan. There's funding already in place for a lot of it. It will rebound, and it will be a much stronger sector that will then propel the economy of Ghana.
So you support the kind of reforms that the central bank had been undertaking as far as the banking sector is concerned, right?
Yes, very much so. I think from what I understand, my predecessors were very much in favor of this intervention. And it may have taken a little while, but having put it in place, I think we're already seeing the benefits of it in terms of the banks that have come through the process. Okay, we may have moved from, I believe it's in 30 plus banks, we're down to 23 now. But there are 23, I would expect more solid banks. And not only the capital, I mean the capital adequacy is one aspect of it, but there are a number of other directives issued by the Bank of Ghana to improve governance. For example, the process for the fit and proper process that I went through in order to be approved. It's a very rigorous process. And it's necessary because of the position you hold and the impact you can have, not only on your staff, but your depositors and the economy as a whole. So that improvement in the governance structure, the requirements for cybersecurity, and many other elements that Bank of Ghana has put in place, while it may seem tough because we didn't have it before, it's a necessary evil, and it's meant to make everything stronger in the economy.
Yeah, some say that the business of banking is about giving loans and also investing, deposit funds and ensuring that, you are able to grow your capital base and all that. What is your plan? I mean, are we going to see a Republic Bank that would, this time around, going into the area of giving more loans in your quest to grow the books?
Yeah, well, I just want to make a little correction in how I view banking. The nature of banking, the mechanics is taking deposits and giving loans.
Yes.
But to me, banking is really about assisting people in fulfilling their dreams. So when we give a mortgage, for us, okay, it's a loan, it's a mortgage you pay back. But for you, the individual, it's a shelter. It's a home where you can raise your family. It's the ability to own my first vehicle, to educate my children, to take that long-awaited trip. So it's more than just dollars and cents or CDs. It's about helping someone to fulfill. It's aspirational. And I think if we look at it that way, we have a greater sense of pride and purpose in what we do. So yes, so lending is an important element. And it's the nature of the business. That's what we want to do. We see a lot of opportunities. We have had a very good last year. 2018 was quite a good year. The final numbers didn't bear it out at the end of the day for other reasons. But the growth in loans, we created the first loan sale campaign in 2018, and it did tremendously well. And they say, no better recognition than when you're copied. I don't think I quoted it exactly as it is. But that's the best form of recognition if you're copied by your competitors. So it's a good start. We were not terribly strong in the retail sector, but we see a lot of business there. Mortgages has always been a core, and to afford the Ghanaian individual the opportunity to own a home is a great thing. We do, I mean, for what I've seen and what I understand, there needs to be a lot of work to be done in terms of the whole mortgage and registration process. The titles for land and so forth. Some work needs to be done to improve that. It takes too long to get things done, but it's a process as countries and economies evolve. We have to get to that point. In the corporate sector, so every area, I mean, in the corporate sector, the guys have been out there. We are showing we have to differentiate ourselves by service. Every bank or finance company has a loan, or they have a deposit, and you can match rates. But nobody has the people we have at Republic Bank. So when I interact with customers as I meet them the first time, and the MD, former MD says he just loves to hear when people speak about our staff, the way they speak about them. And that is how we make the difference. We live up to our promises, we set proper expectations, and if we can't fulfill, we let you know and we reset the expectation. Those are the things that will make us different. And that is what we want to pursue. So yes, the numbers, we are interested in growing organically in all areas. We have a list of products and services that we will be focusing on, getting very much heavier into the digital banking space. We have partnerships with some of the telecoms, MTN and Vodafone. We have others to come. So we have quite a broad plan. Our subsidiaries, Republic WAFO, it's a really key element for us. It has not done as well over the last year, and a lot has to do with basically the economy, the microfinance industry, the confidence in the industry based on what has been happening in the financial sector. But people will know that they're part of Republic Bank Ghana Group, and we are strong. So Republic WAFO, we have a lot of expectations for them as well. Republic Investments. So we cover the gamut of the financial services sector, some capital market interventions as well. So we intend to improve on that.
Do I have a feeling that you probably are looking to also be more heavy, in the mortgage sector? Is that one of the directions you want to go, taking over the bank, helm of affairs here?
It is a desire for the organization, for sure. What we just have to, everything is about risk. So you look at your exposure in total. But we also, as I indicated, that element in terms of the collateral to ensure that we're able to get properly registered title.
Okay.
And that's critical. So yes, to the extent that we're able to do that. And we have had cooperation with the Ministry of Housing in the past, and we plan to do that again. So it's a key element. A mortgage product is what we call an anchor product. So once you're banking with us and we help you finance your home, there's a higher level of loyalty, and we're able to do more business. So on the business side, this makes sense. But also we must ensure that on the risk side, we balance everything out.
Once you're giving out these loans, either be it mortgage or normal government workers loan or auto loan or whatever it is, one of the key challenges that in the sector everybody talks about has to do with non-performing loans. And are you keeping that on your radar? And how do you ensure, or how are you going to ensure that you mitigate the levels which can take a hit to your bottom line?
Yeah, well, definitely. I think the industry right now is somewhere around low 20s. It was probably closer to 30% a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We have brought it down below 20. I think we are now around 18%. The target is 5. So we are way off the target. It is definitely an area of concern, not only because, that loan is now delinquent, it's not being paid. It drags down your whole performance, because if you have $100 that is not being repaid, I still have a deposit that I have to pay interest on, and I earn nothing on that $100 that I lent. So it is important for us to manage that down. The plans are in train. It is also important to make sure you have the balance focus. So you have that existing portfolio. So we call it our legacy issues. Those are generally issues we have had based on economic and other reasons over the years. For the last 2 or 3 years, we have reviewed and revised our lending policies, our criteria, and our standards. We have improved the training and technical skills of our frontline, people in the corporate and the retail, but also on the people who do the assessment. Make sure there's that line, a segregation of duties and responsibilities. And in tracking it, we have noted that for the past 3 years, I can't give a specific number, but our NPLs from loans granted over the last 3 years has been significantly lower and much closer to the margins and the targets that we're looking for.
Is it that you've made it very flexible for these individuals or firms that take the loans? You've made it flexible for them to be able to repay, or you're making it more stringent?
Well, I think it's a combination. So if we were making poor decisions, we have to make better decisions. So you may have some additional criteria. But also what we have done, for example, for the Christmas loan sale campaign, and even for the corporate customers, is you structure it better suited to the customer. Sometimes in the old days of banking, we have a product, this is what it is, you have to operate it as we want. But well and truly, we have to look at your cash flows. If it's a business, we have to understand your cycle, we have to understand your cash flows, we have to understand your capital requirements versus your working capital requirements. On the personal side, if people work in certain seasonal industries, you need to package the payments to suit their income. So it's a lot more of that, so it's awareness of the customer's needs and how do we fit our products to suit them and not have the customer fit our product profiles. Yeah, so it's a work in progress, but I think we have been progressing quite well.
Let me put you on the spot. You've taken over now.
Yeah.
In the next 6 months, what should we expect from you as the managing director of Republic Bank?
Well, I would say luckily I've taken over at a time where the strategic plan is very active. So we have a number of initiatives on the table. My initial goal, while I continue to learn the organization and the people and so forth, is to ensure we execute those plans because they're well thought out plans. As I say, a lot more in the digital space. We have a fairly aggressive plan in the lending and the corporate lending area. We have plans what we want to do with the microfinance area. So it's about executing those plans, and we have our 3-year rolling plan. We are coming up to the planning cycle again, so we're going to review those plans and see what else we need to do. On the side of that, my big thing, again, it's on the delivery of service. I was privileged. I came in at the right time. We had our Blue Stars Awards on the first weekend I came in. And that's where you recognize the people who have performed and exceeded the expectations. And the energy in that room was phenomenal. And you want to build on that. So we need to have a proper reward mechanism. But I think the staff are seeing the value of that service that we're able to provide to the customers. And that's where we just need to ensure that the entire organization is speaking the same language about service, delivery, standards, and understanding what we do and how it impacts the organization. Because everyone in the organization serves a purpose. No one is lesser than anyone else. We may have a title, but every job in the organization is important. So it's to build the self-esteem of the staff, what we can do as an organization, and reward what we have done.
How do you see the bank in the next 5 years under your leadership here?
Again, so my role is to help develop and execute the strategic direction of the organization. Our goal is to be in the tier 1 of the banking sector in Ghana. We believe we are. From the size of our group, our holding company, we are significant size. Currently, we just made an acquisition in the Caribbean. We are up to 12 billion US. And there's an acquisition in train that will take us to close to 15 billion US. The group has a lot of strength. And where we operate, we want to be in the top tier. So our objective is we have multiple objectives in the next 5 years. To be the top tier in Ghana, and also for Ghana to be the launching pad for our sub-Saharan expansion. Right? So we don't go into every environment and rush in. So we come to Ghana to learn to understand, first of all, Ghana and West Africa and the wider sub-Saharan Africa. We build a very strong base in Ghana. So in growing Ghana, we'll build our not only financial strength, but our human resource strength that will help take us into the other environments.
Okay, so whilst you look at expanding to the sub-Saharan region, are we going to see some acquisitions along the way?
Yes, because if we do it, what we call greenfield, we go in and set up a bank from scratch. It takes a couple generations, probably 10, 20 years to really establish yourself as a true competitor in the market. So as we did here, you acquire an entity that fits your profile, it fits your culture of the organization, it fits the strategic objectives of both parties, and ideally you get a good partnership and you build on that. So we can bring certain things to the table, and we expect that the entity we would be interested in or partner with, but also bring a lot to the table, local knowledge, resources, etc. So to get that expansion in 5 to 10 years, a lot of it will have to be mergers and acquisitions.
Very finally, I mean, just before we go, when all this is over, how does Farid Anta hope to be remembered? So just as Anthony bowed out some few days, if I'll put it ago, when all this is over, and then you also probably have to move on. Either you are retiring from the banking sector totally, or you need to move out of Ghana. How do you want us to remember you? Because I can remember Robert Lehant, your first predecessor, the first man who took, when Republic Bank came into being. I can remember Anthony for something else. How do you want us to remember Farid Anta?
Well, it may be different to, well, we're all different individuals, so it may be different to the others. I think fair, honest, and equitable would be 3 key words that I would like to be remembered as being. Where I was able to help build people, build their capacity, help them grow so that they help others grow. At the end of the day, when I retire, leave here, I must ensure that there are a cadre of people who will take the bank further than I can take it. So me, it's about building people, but instilling that level of integrity and pride. I think once you have the people on board and you have energized the people, the team, everything else will fall in place. So you set your numbers, you must have delivery of performances for your stakeholders. I know our shareholders are expecting to get some sort of payback for their investment. They have been waiting a while. Those things will come once we motivate the people to go out and achieve.
Thank you very much, Farid Anta.
Yeah.
And
I've learned.
All right, so we've been speaking to Farid Anta. Farid Anta is the managing director now for Republic Bank. He takes over from Anthony Jordan. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Norvan Akwa Hayford. We'll come your way another time.